And we are live. Just wait a minute. Let me set this up on some other platforms. Yep. It's all right. Yeah, it's done. All right. Welcome to all the viewers and all the listeners. My name is Harsh. You're watching Esports and Information. This is where we review all the headlines from across the world. What is the information that they are publishing in the newspapers, on the social media, on their all the online platforms. Every media house has some or the other facility where they publish information. So let's see, where does this lead to? Yes, the online booking of helicopter services for the Amarnath Yatra has commenced. Okay, yes, online booking of helicopter services. This is a very sacred pagan pilgrimage that every year multiple people undertake, and just as uh, there are multiple threats. There are multiple threats from multiple terrorist bodies subscribing to the fundamentalist Islamic ideology. So hence we have to keep an entire uh, platoon of army that is somewhere close to 50 or 60,000 soldiers guard these pilgrims. So very recently there was this meeting uh, led by the Union Home Minister to look into the preparations and the security arrangements for the pilgrimage. Yeah, so on top of that, now there are online booking for helicopter services have also started for the same. Okay, it's a very arduous journey, not for the faint-hearted, and hence for people who are not physically in the shape to undertake this pilgrimage, they have the facility of booking helicopters. So keep in mind it's a 52-day long Sri Amarnath Yatra. So it takes 52 days to scale from the beginning point up until the destination. Okay. So Sri Amarnath Shrine Board, this is the administrative body that looks into such matters. And in a statement that they've put out, they've said that the annual pilgrimage of Amarnath is starting on June 29th and will conclude on August 19th. Okay, so good luck to all the pilgrims who are going over there to worship one third of the Holy Trinity that we have. Next up is the National Security Advisor of the United States, Jake Sullivan, is in New Delhi, the capital city, to engage in dialogue with the leaders of our country. And he has recently met with the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister as well. And yeah, United States and India, it's some sort of a give and take relationship between US and Bharat, I would say, because um, United States has adopted this hardline policy towards China and Russia as well, and we have this unique ability of you know balancing equal relationship with both these camps. Uh, United States on one side and Russia and China on both the sides. So we do play a balancing role, I would say, not a countering role, but a balancing role when it comes to the foreign policy of United States, more specifically in the areas of Asia and Southeast Asia and North Asia as well. So yes, they indulged in this high level dialogue. He's the national security advisor, and yeah, the minister expressed confidence that the Bharat US strategic partnership will continue to advance strongly. Okay, okay. So keep in mind that side by side with Japan. Bharat is a strong democracy, strong, vibrant, and a robust democracy, and United States has this affinity for democratic societies. Okay, and yeah, hence we do play a pivotal role when it comes to the foreign policy of White House. Okay, upcoming on 22nd of June, 22nd. Yeah, so on either of these days, 21st or 22nd, International Day of Yoga is being celebrated. And um, among the multiple gifts that we have gifted to humanity as a civilization, yoga is one of them. Yoga is a holistic science. Yoga is a holistic body science that enables you to live a peaceful life. Get in tune with, get yourself at resonance with the cosmos, and vibrate with a frequency that resonates with the cosmos. That is what yoga does. Now, yoga has evolved out of centuries of trial and error by all the pagan rishis, I would say. So it's not like that Patanjali in the end he came over and compiled, or like I would say that Patanjali was standing on the shoulders of giants. We don't exactly know who before Patanjali made significant contribution to the science that is yoga. All right, so yes, Patanjali is uh, very, I would say, revered and very highly regarded person in our history that we have, and he is often and rightly so credited with the ushering in the era of yoga. And yeah, but there definitely would be people prior to him who came along and contributed to this science as we know today. So Prime Minister has wrote a letter to Gram Pradhans and has extended best wishes to all the residents of Gram Panchayats on 10th International Yoga Day. Okay. PM Modi calls upon everyone to embrace a sustainable, stress-free, and balanced lifestyle through yoga to build a healthy. Let me to build a healthy nation. Okay, this is our national and cultural heritage. Okay, now world over, everyone is adopting this lifestyle change that is yoga. Okay, it's not something that you should think about starting. It's not something like a gym or any sport that you wish to start. Yoga by default should be ingrained in your lifestyle. And yeah, so he has written this letter to all the gram pradhans, people who represent the ground level democracy, and they have been urged to encourage people to adopt this as a part of their life, not as a fitness regimen, as something that they do. Okay. Next up is obviously a very sad news. Two trains, one passenger train and one goods train, they collided in the state of West Bengal, and so far the media reports and the official announcements by the government have said that 9 people were killed and somewhere close to 60 were injured. I would say railway is a national asset, and such accidents taking place, they shake the confidence of a normal man, a lay person into the railways, because keep in mind that railways play a role as a lifeline of Bharat. Because if you less than 2% of the population of Bharat is affluent and high net worth individuals and wealthy individuals, but the mass of the public is obviously belongs to the bourgeoisie or the middle class, and these people often fall back upon railways to go to a place, to go to travel, to visit a pilgrimage site, and for multiple various purposes they use railways, and such instances shake their confidence. So obviously there is going to be an inquiry into this as to who exactly is to be held accountable for such a mishap. But such incidents involving railways has been increasingly growing very frequent all throughout the country, and Government should look into how exactly are these incidents taking place, because as far as I know, there is this thought inside the heads of people that railway is safe, and it is supposed to be safe because it is the most preferred choice of the masses. And the moment we start letting down the choice of the masses, we don't know where the buck ends. So yes, there should be a detailed inquiry into this as to why are such incidents growing frequent. Next up, there is this video. Yes, I would say, we have experienced same in the context of Afghanistan. There is no pagan presence in Afghanistan after the Taliban drove all of them out. Okay, so Yemen, it has been in a perpetual state of war since its inception, and the last remaining Jew in the land of Yemen has passed away. So there is no Jewish presence, and the Jewish presence all across the Gulf countries and West Asia has been very common since time immemorial, and slowly and steadily they are being. That's about it. Okay, let's see what do we have here. Some news from the political front. Rahul Gandhi retains Raebareli Lok Sabha seat. Priyanka Gandhi to contest from Wayanad. I would really hope to see one day that we get rid of this rule that politicians are allowed to contest from multiple seats. They just use it as a lifeline when a politician is not sure that whether he or she will get elected from the same constituency that they've been occupying. So they contest from multiple seats just to guarantee their election to Lok Sabha. So imagine this, okay? Imagine this: a politician, he or she contests an election from two seats, that is seat A and seat B, and both the seats A and B have voted for that parliamentarian. So when you win an election, it is the people who are depositing their trust on you through their voting franchise. Okay, so when they vote for you, they are basically counting on you. They have put their faith in you, and they believe in you that he or she, that is you, will work for the welfare of the parliamentary constituency that you are elected from. Okay, but the purpose why politicians are contesting from both the seats, that is A and B, is somewhat different. When a politician is not sure, okay, whether will I get elected from the constituency or not, they fall back on their fail safe. Same is the case with Rahul Gandhi, the Gandhi Scion from the Congress party. Obviously, he was very unsure about his seat from Raebareli, and hence he decided to stand from Wayanad. And this is not a one-time thing. Rahul Gandhi has been contesting from Wayanad from the previous many elections. I would say 2019 and 2014 as well. Obviously, we'll have to check the factual data regarding this, from which seats has he exactly contested from. But yes, this rule regarding politicians contesting from multiple seats has to be done away with. It's just a cheating done to the common man and woman, of course, common people, I would say. Yes, so so Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will fight from Wayanad Lok Sabha seat in Kerala. So now that the Wayanad seat has been vacated by Rahul Gandhi, it will be contested by Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. All right, so the seat should stay in the family. That is what the thinking behind this, I would say. Next up is the country of Brazil. Okay, we have discussed this quite extensively in many of our previous live streams, that it is China that has a massive industrial capacity. Now, there is a reason why China has massive industrial capacity. There are multiple reasons, but a few among them are: number one is it has widely available and a mammoth labor force as well. Okay, so the lifeline for the industrial complex is obviously the people who work in it. And China obviously has no dearth of people working people working in a labor force. And when I say labor force, I mean blue collar jobs. Okay, that is number one. Number two is China has been geographically gifted with rare earth metals. Okay, now to give you some brief context about rare earth metals, these are the metals that are useful for producing magnets, semiconductor devices, meaning any electronic device that you see around you, be it mobile phones, be it anything else, they run on battery. Okay, making those batteries involves substances that are made from rare earth metals. Okay, now China has huge deposits of rare earth elements. Okay, now very recently it is Brazil that has taken the center stage in the policy of the West. Okay, reason being, Brazil is also aiming to expand its rare earth metal industry. Okay, so all the countries of the West, they are pooling their resources to help Brazil to set up its rare earth metal industry. In this way they can somewhat I would say, counter the Chinese influence on the rare earth metal industry. Okay, so here it is. The website of Reuters claims that mining giant Brazil has big ambitions to build a rare earth industry as Western economies push to secure the metals needed for magnets used in green energy and defense and break China's dominance of the supply chain. Like I said, China has a significant dominance on international supply chains, and be it anything. If you look at the numbers, they are astronomical. The export capacity that China has is just beyond imagination, I would say. Yep. uh, s- yes, so I would say, the pace at which Brazil's rare earth metals project come closer with will be a test to how successful the West may be at building new advanced industry almost from scratch to break China's grip. Brazil holds world's third largest rare earth reserves. The country's first rare earths mine, Serra Verde, started commercial production this year. Okay, so Serra Verde is the name given to the mine where rare earth elements are being mined in Brazil for the first time. And yes, obviously, this is a beginning. There is a significant way to be covered up ahead, but this is a possibility that they see. Okay, now let me just put this up on the screen so it will be very easier for you to comprehend. Let us see. Hmm. Yep, this one. So here, if you see, global rare earths deposit estimates in millions of tons of rare earth oxide equivalent. Okay, so rare earth oxides are the elements that are useful for production of electronic devices, magnets, and whatnot. Okay, so in the current era that we live in, electricity seems to be the way forward, be it replacing fossil fuels, be it space technology, and everything else. So if you see over here, it is China that holds 44% of the entire world's rare earth resources. On the second, we have Vietnam, and very close third, we have Brazil. Okay. Obviously, yes, you'll see that there is some news related to Vietnam as well. Okay, let me just see if. Hmm. Okay, yeah. So keep this in mind. It is. Yep. So that is what they are planning to do. Okay. Hmm. So that is what it is. Brazil as a source of potential rare earths is very exciting proposition because there have been some very meaningful discoveries made in past couple of years, says Daniel Morgan. Okay, it's some okay. So here is China produced 240,000 metric tons of rare earths last year, more than 5 times the next biggest producer, United States. It processes around 90% of the global supply of rare earths to permanent magnets used in everything from wind turbines to electric vehicles and missiles. Okay, yes. So obviously, even in the recently concluded G7 meet, the industrial overcapacity of China was a topic that was discussed by the democracies of the West. So obviously, they are looking for alternatives to Chinese exports to uh, rebalance, rebalance the market and produce a status quo between states. I would say the communist ideology that China is following is also somewhat to be held. Is also one of the factors why it has an industrial overcapacity, because there aren't exactly private ownership over there. If you see the state that is represented through the Communist Party of China, they have this you know they have this leeway or the elbow room to pool all the resources and channel all their efforts towards one particular goal that is dominating the industrial capacity all across the world and on this globe. And that is what China is doing, and so far from all the things that we see, I would say it is succeeding. Yes. Okay. So some of the reasons why Brazil is being touted as the next center for rare earth mining is, number one, is it is very closer to the end markets. So let's say, for example, geographically, Brazil is closer to United States and Western European countries compared to China. And efforts that China is making to neutralize this advantage that Brazil has is building logistical structures through Asia connecting Europe. So yeah, there is a very cutthroat competition going on the international platform to take over industries. Okay, so that is number one. Number two is cheap labor. Okay. Mm. There is no dearth of cheap labor in Brazil as well. Yep. Brazil has the opportunity to become world's option to China. Okay. Yes, it does, I would say, but let's see. There are still, you know, it's still early to comment whether it will be an option or not. Um, yep. Yes. The reasons why Brazil is being touted is Brazil is attractive for its cheap labor, clean energy, and yeah, let's see. We'll know in the upcoming time whether Brazil could live up to these expectations or not. Next up is uh, okay. Now this piece of information will require some contextual information, because before you try to comprehend this piece of information is, um, it is alleged that some of the political parties in the past who were at the center post independence for 2 or 3 decades, they had made some promises. Now these are all allegations. We do not have, at least I do not have access to sources of evidences that corroborate this piece of information, is that the Sikhs, the Sikhs were promised that they will given a sovereign state, that is Khalistan, and they have been holding on to this dear idea of carving out a sovereign state from the territory of Bharat. I don't understand why uh, there is this hope that Bharat is very benevolent, everyone will be given their own sovereign state. And Pakistan and Bangladesh have already taken out their own sovereign states, and we have seen how the minorities are being treated over there. So yeah, not that I'm implying that minorities will be treated the same way if one day the idea of Khalistan fructifies, But yeah, we have had this experience, and we have no reason to trust that if we carve out another sovereign state from the land of Bharat, how will the natural inhabitants of Bharat be treated in that sovereign state? We don't exactly know. All right. So yes, Khalistanis usually they are allegedly accused of adhering to violent means to reach their end goals. And very recently, a person named Nikhil Gupta, he has been extradited to US from Czech Republic. He was arrested in Czech Republic. He is sent back to US, and he stands trial. Okay, he stands trial as a person who is involved in a conspiracy to kill Gurpatwant Singh Panoon. Okay, this person Gurpatwant Singh Panoon, he is a U.S. resident and who advocated for a sovereign six state in northern India. So yeah, obviously this person Nikhil Gupta, he denies, and there are also allegations that it was the state of Bharat that has helped orchestrate these attacks. It was backed by the government, and obviously the state of Bharat has obviously denied these allegations, and they've said that they will formally investigate all these claims. So let's see what comes out of these formal investigations. But yeah, the trial is still going on. This um, Nikhil Gupta has denied denied. He says he is not guilty, and obviously the state of Bharat has also denied that we do not undertake such missions on foreign soil. So it would be interesting to see what is the outcome. Okay, and how do the foreign ministers, manage this, and how do they make sure that it does not affect their foreign relations. This was very interesting to see Putin to visit North Korea for the first time in 24 years. So the camaraderie between North Korea and Russia has been growing. It has obviously been steady, in the past, but it is now being noticed very recently because there are allegations that some of the missiles that Russia is using to target, conflict areas on the border of Russia and Ukraine, they are using weapons that are being supplied by North Korea. So keep in mind this: the Western countries have joined forces to compel Russia to tiptoe its line, and they have been also offering NATO memberships to countries that have geographical borders with Russia, which Moscow says that it is a red line for them. They do not want any NATO members on its geographical boundaries, and Russia has denied. The recalcitrant Russian government has denied to tiptoe the line of the West, and hence West is using all the means at its disposal. Sanctions being number one, isolation being number two. So they are using all tactics that are available to them to compel Russia to tiptoe its line, and this has pushed Russia to look for different allies in the Asian subcontinent. I would say that Europe is a played out field. There is no more geopolitical room available in the subcontinent of Europe because it's a played out field. It's decided over there which country is leaning towards which camp. So, yes, very recently also you could see that it was Zelensky. Zelensky was on I would say, a worldwide Asia tour all across Asian countries to see, to get more people on his side. Yep. So it would be interesting to see. Putin is visiting North Korea. There have been wide scale allegations. The last time Putin visited North Korea was in 2000. So it's been almost 24 years since he has visited it. Now, if you juxtapose this piece of information with another, Russia's Putin to visit Vietnam as well. Putin is also visiting Vietnam, and there are, there is this information doing rounds in international political circle that Vietnam is now leaning more towards US and then Russia. So, yep, Russian President Putin will visit Hanoi this week. Vietnamese and Russian state media said this, highlighting and day by day it is losing its trusted allies. Now Vietnam also avoided visiting the peace summit that was organized in Switzerland for Ukraine. Okay, so it is inching more towards Russia and moving far away from United States. Now the United States, which upgraded relations with Vietnam last year, is its top trading partner. Okay, this is the statement by a spokesperson for the US Embassy in Vietnam. And the statement goes as this: no country should give Putin a platform to promote his war of aggression and otherwise allow him to normalize his atrocities. So they're trying to isolate Russia, but it's not as easy as they thought it would be. This is where I would say this is where their deft diplomacy comes in, I would say. um, and The common perception in the Asian continent is it is Russia and up to a certain extent China and Bharat as well who are standing as this protectors from the Western influence. And yeah, this is what provides some sort of empathy towards the Russian cause in the Asian subcontinent, because they view United States as this person who interfere as this nation who interferes all across the world. And Vietnam, obviously, United States has fought a fruitless Vietnam war over there, and it yielded nothing. So obviously there is some reluctance on the side of Asian countries to trust United States. And and rightly so, they should, the people, because the people who end up occupying White House are not usually very sane. Okay, the that leaders that are being produced in America these days are not exactly people that you want to look up to. I'm sorry to say this, but this it is what it is. You don't want to look up to Joe Biden and say, oh, this is the leader that I want to be like. Next up is the European Union on Monday repeated calls for China to stop human rights violation after an EU delegation visited Tibet and also met with Chinese officials. So there was a European Union delegation that was on a visit to Tibet, that China considers as its own territory, but Tibet has its own independent aspirations. They want to see Tibet as a sovereign state in the upcoming future. But there is a history of China overtaking countries, and Tibet is one of them. So yeah, the EU referred to reports on the crackdown on human rights defenders, lawyers, and journalists in China. They urged China to investigate and stop human rights violation, expressing concerns for cases of unlawful detention and forced disappearance, torture, and ill treatment. This is what the delegation has said. So let's see how long does it take for China to work on these things. And we all know there's nothing that is going to come out of these reports by delegations. In the end, the Communist Party of China is not going to, heed to any of the recommendations that these panels give. Okay, the country of Norway. Okay, the Scandinavian country of Norway. All right, has made this statement. Okay, statement through its foreign minister Espen Barth Eid. I hope I'm saying this correctly. The Palestinian Authority could collapse in the coming months, the Norwegian finance minister said on Monday, citing lack of funding, continuing violence, and fact that 500,000 Palestinians are not allowed to work in Israel. Obviously, they'll not be allowed to work in Israel. So, if two countries are at war, why would one country allow the people of other country to work on its soil? Obviously, there is this wide mistrust among the people on both sides. I would say there is a wide mistrust. The situation is extremely dire. Yes, it is. The Palestinian Authority, with whom we work closely, are warning us that they might be collapsing this summer. Okay, I mean, all that needs to be done to end this war is return all the hostages. So I would say that I would urge the Norwegian people or the Norwegian authorities to urge Hamas to just simply return the hostages. It would end the war. It's that simple, I would say. Next up is United Kingdom approval arms exports to Israel plunged at the start of Gaza war. So there are some statistics that are put in the public domain by UK authorities, and it says that since October 7, okay, since October 7, the number of approvals that were granted for arms sale to Israel has come down. Okay, so here is what it is. There are countries such as UK, Germany, they directly supply arms and weapons to Israel, but situation is slightly different in UK. What they do is the companies that wish to export arms to Israel, they need to seek license. They have to seek license from the government of UK, and these licenses are approved on a case by case basis by the government. And there is a report that has come out since October 7. Okay, since October 7, the value of permits granted for the sale of military equipment to its ally falling by more than 95%. Okay, although UK might be supporting Israel on a diplomatic on a you know on a diplomatic level, but we see that the arms supply to Israel from UK has come down significantly. So that would indicate there is some sort of empathy towards the Palestinian cause amongst Britain, amongst the British parliamentarians and politicians. Okay. Next up is the Maryland state of the United States. The governor of Maryland pardons 175,000 low-level marijuana convictions. So there's such mass pardons for minor offenses related to marijuana have been pardoned in the past as well. So this time it is Maryland. Okay, and so I would say under the union law, under the federal law, it is obviously illegal. For consumption of marijuana is illegal, but under state law, there are somewhere close to, I would say, hang on, I read it somewhere. Marijuana use and possession remains illegal under federal law, but 24 states have legalized the recreational use of marijuana under state law. Okay, so although it is obviously illegal under the federal law in the United States, but there are some states, okay, they have some legal leeway, and they have utilized that leeway to legalize marijuana for recreational use. So there are somewhere close to 24 states that have legalized it. So they have come out with this, the Maryland governor, he has pardoned a lot of people, somewhere close to 175,000 people. Yep. So they have pardoned. They'll no longer face punitive measures. But it has also urged. Okay, this is a statement by American Civil Liberties Union. I'm not making this up. Black Americans have historically been more than 3 times as likely white Americans to be arrested on marijuana charges. They have come out with this statement and say that we need to look into it. Why are black people more black people have more affinity towards marijuana convictions compared to the whites. Yep. All right, that's it for today. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for joining.